Hello and welcome to Useless Movie Review. Today I'm going to review episode 1 of a TV program entitled Batwoman. Now I realise I'm a bit late to the party here, but I was promised lesbians and rubber suits and I'm damn well gonna make sure this puppy's gonna collect. And besides, I was hoping it might subdue the voices in my head long enough that I could take them by surprise. So after being talked out of watching it, I did watch it, and then I wished I hadn't. The following is a totally fictitious story of those heady days of yore. We start off with a chick on holiday who goes to extremes to cool down her party beers. She left them at the bottom of this frozen lake and is diving in to retrieve them for her bender ahead. Just then though, some bastard drags a bar fridge over the escape hole and she has to punch her way out. Luckily she's immune to cold, breathing and warm clothing. And it's not long before she's complaining again about the lack of bar fridges in her chalet. For the price they charge a night in this shithole, good on her. Meanwhile, in Gotham City, someone forgot to turn the bat signal off, and after 10 years of lobbying by the fed-up taxpayers because of the hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted in electricity, the decision to turn it off has finally been mandated. I personally believe the tipping point was to cover up the massive decrease in the local moth population, but you notice they don't mention the hundreds of thousands of dollars it cost for the gala night of stars just to push a switch tonight. The loss to the Electricity Corporation, however, has hit the boss hard. They've been making too many juicy profits for too long for doing nothing that they almost feel as powerful as government itself, so she kills the police around the bat signal and departs. Just like any self-respecting corporation would do. Well played, Alice. It's not long after this that the rabbit that was pissing off Donnie Darko makes an appearance, and when the woman cop disposes of him, the homeless Trump supporter with all the weapons he's been allowed to stockpile makes his move. When he throws her over the edge, it becomes clear the fire department has been in on all this from the start. But that clarity is too late for our beloved female cop, as she is beaten senseless by the mythical floorboard of sleep. Meanwhile, back in the cold, the Batwoman is testing out her immunity to a necklace and mirrors when the local innkeeper arrives with a peace offering, a 1980s 1G phone from Lost and Found that might have got a signal if the battery wasn't currently being used to power a snowmobile. Knowing they are listening through the door though, she goes to test it out by pretending to make a call to Alex Jones to tell him how the polar bears are behind the veganism cult, just so they can safely swim to other countries for their takeover plan without fear of being eaten. If Alex was listening, he'd be lapping it up. Later, deciding to drive to Austin to tell Alex herself about who's behind the push for everyone eating insects, she decides to stop off in Gotham on the way to visit her policeman dad. She has a disagreement with him about how to handle the fact her old partner has been abducted. And this news makes her think about why she left her partner all those days ago. We are treated to a flashback where she remembers how close they used to have to talk to avoid being overheard by the bad guys. And the distinct lack of mud wrestling opportunities and skimpy underwear that surely would have been afforded to any male police officer if they weren't so sexist. To be honest, I think I'm imagining that last bit. I have my suspicions that they were actually having a torrid lesbian affair, but I might be reading too much into it. If only they would keep awkwardly shoehorning flashbacks of them both kissing and groping each other every 5 minutes to really make sure we understand exactly what's going on. Oh well, I guess we'll never really know. So soon she's off to buy more beer on the scene change bike, but she stops off at her cousin's business held in Wayne Tower. For those who don't know, in Gotham the employee of the month gets the business tower named after them for a week. Unfortunately the boss died during this time, and the lawyers found out there was a loophole in his plan. Let's just say Wayne's burger flipping days are over, but I digress. Anyway, she decides to scale the outside of the building for some much needed parkour and to avoid her unnatural phobia of escalators, but only gets to the first floor because she's naked, and gaining access through a window that would ordinarily be sealed in a tower, she's confronted by the only security guard. That's entrapment if you ask me, but hey, I'm no lawyer, and that's why I had no business defending O.J. Simpson for that acting he once did. But off I go digressing again. Soon she's taken to Security HQ and is told to wait while he calls his mummy for a change of his big boy pants. Then she turns the tables, makes the fastest transfer in USB stick history, and drops the keys like a mic on her way out. Use your legs, you idiot. She arrives home just in time for a surprise party where her dad is breaking the atmosphere by booking all the underage drinkers. And then they retreat to a private room where everybody watches footage of the female cop being slapped around by the mythical Board of Sleep. Her father looks a bit put out when they all leave to find her, as he was winning this round of Catan, and they knew it. So, breaking into the orphanage of bad guys, Batwoman has to fight in a lift, but thankfully she's immune to deafeningly loud weapons going off near her unprotected ears in confined spaces. Sadly, she is not immune though to walking backwards into trouble for no reason, and is given a good clout in the head from the mythical floorboard of sleep for her stupidity. Now Batwoman wakes to find she's bound up, but not in a good way, and after a bit of exposition, she's walloped in the head with, ironically, a bat. Luckily, she wakes to find a doctor looking over her. Her head is completely fine without so much as a mild bruise. She must be immune to them. But she's got a very angry gash for some reason that deserves to be sewn shut. Then it's not long before the motorbike of scene change takes her back to Wayne's office, and here's a euphemism about a woman having to handle a pearl necklace before she can get access to a man's world. Then it's just a matter of going down and fondling someone else's box before the next step of wearing rubber in someone else's dungeon. Is it just me, or have I seen this story before? Or am I thinking The Force Awakens? Anyway, in here we get a scene with all yellow tint which must indicate the past, where Batwoman and her sister are let down by Batman, who obviously wasn't trying very hard, except when he saved all the other children in that bus and stuff. And when she snaps out of that, she demands the Batsuit be butchered to make it fit her, which really means just taking in the chest and expanding the crotch a bit. So she'd better work fast because above ground, lots of people have agreed to be molested and subject to multiple scans and drug dog sniffing because they've decided to brave the cold and dark to see a really old black and white movie that could have just been downloaded and watched for free in the warmth of their own home. But this does give Batwoman's father an opportunity to get dizzy spinning around. Meanwhile, Alice is getting fed up with kissing some dude, so she pretends to get a call on her 1980s 1G phone to avoid him. She's about to continue the game of hide and seek she was in the middle of when Batwoman spoils it all by standing right in front of her. Alice has brought what she thinks is Batwoman's kryptonite though, the mythical floorboard of doom, but luckily Batwoman's immunity is growing, just like her immunity to a face full of breeze blocks, and hitting the ground from great heights. So she almost kisses her ex, goes up the building to miss Alex, and flies out just as some kid screams, "There's Batman!" And it only remains for Jay and Silent Bob to ignore the main newspaper story and be looking at the cartoons. Her ex to not realise it was her 6 inches from her face all those minutes ago. And the plot to explain Alice is really Batwoman's sister. Well, that was interesting. Not sure I'll watch another one. There comes a time when I'd rather just listen to the voices. Still, feel free to add your voice below, and don't forget to, press something. What? Oh yes, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Bye for now.